Ambassador Reina Santos stood before the massive crystalline structure, its surface refracting the alien world's twin suns into countless rainbow patterns. After 15 years of deep space diplomatic missions, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. The Nexari delegation surrounded her, their towering, translucent bodies pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that served as their primary form of communication. Their ambassador, whom she dubbed Prism for simplicity's sake, extended a tendril toward the structure. The beacon of ascension, Prism's neural translator conveyed. A gift from those who came before. We share this knowledge with humanity as a gesture of trust. Reina touched the communication device at her throat, ensuring her words would translate correctly. The United Earth Coalition is honored by this trust. This artifact could revolutionize our understanding of space-time. She approached the structure, her containment suit's sensors working overtime to analyze its composition. The Nexari had been clear, this technology predated their civilization by millions of years. They'd discovered it on their home world, encoded with mathematical principles that had accelerated their species' development. The structure's surface rippled at her proximity, like water disturbed by a gentle breeze. That wasn't supposed to happen. The Nexari's bioluminescence shifted to alarming patterns of red and violet. Ambassador Santos, Prism's translation came through urgent and distorted. Step back. The beacon, it's never reacted this way. Before Reina could move, a pulse of energy erupted from the structure, flooding her suit with blinding light. She felt a searing sensation in her mind, like someone had plugged her consciousness directly into a quantum computer. Images and equations cascaded through her thoughts, too fast to process. The Nexari scattered, their crystalline forms resonating with fear. Through the chaos, Reina heard Prism's translated warning, the beacon has chosen. The protocols are clear, she cannot leave. Reina's diplomatic training kicked in. This must be a misunderstanding. The treaty. The treaty is void, Prism interrupted. The ancient laws supersede all agreements. You will remain here for study. Guards materialized from quantum gates, their bodies weaponized into jagged formations. Reina's mind raced, processing the situation through the strange new clarity the beacon had given her. The equations still burning through her consciousness suddenly made sense, they weren't just mathematical principles. They were blueprints. Without conscious thought, she raised her hand. The beacon's energy responded, creating a localized distortion in spacetime. The guards' attacks passed through empty air as Reina seemingly phased out of existence. She reappeared behind them, her body moving with impossible precision. The beacon's knowledge had changed her, optimizing her neural pathways and enhancing her physical capabilities. She was no longer just a diplomat, she had become something more. I won't be your test subject, she announced, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. But I'm willing to negotiate new terms. Prism's form pulsed with complex patterns. The changes have already begun. You don't understand what you're becoming. Warning klaxons blared throughout the facility. More guards emerged from quantum gates, surrounding her in a crystalline cage. Reina felt the beacon's energy surge within her again, revealing escape vectors through probability calculations she shouldn't have been able to comprehend. She had seconds to decide, surrender to the Nexari and become their specimen, or embrace whatever the beacon was transforming her into. The choice was obvious. After all, she was human, adaptation was in her DNA. Reina smiled grimly. You're right, I don't understand what I'm becoming. But I intend to find out, on my own terms. She reached out to the beacon's energy once more, this time with purpose. Space itself seemed to fold around her as new possibilities opened up. The last thing she saw before the quantum tunnel formed was Prism's body flashing with patterns of fear and fascination. The hunt was about to begin, and Reina Santos, diplomat turned anomaly, was no one's prey. Quantum tunneling wasn't meant for human bodies. Reina materialized in the underbelly of the Nexari capital city, her containment suit systems screaming warnings about cellular degradation. The beacon's energy coursed through her veins like liquid mathematics, rewriting her biology faster than the suit's sensors could track. She ducked into a maintenance corridor as a patrol of crystalline guards phased through the walls above. Their bodies pulsed with search patterns, lighting the organic architecture in strobing colors. They were hunting her, but they weren't the only ones. Her neural implant crackled with an incoming transmission, heavily encrypted. Ambassador Santos, this is Captain Thorne of the UEC Black Operations. We've been monitoring the situation. Stay where you are, extraction team incoming. Reyna silenced the transmission. The UEC's involvement meant one thing: they'd known about the beacon's true nature all along. This hadn't been a diplomatic mission, it had been a calculated risk to expose a human to the artifact. The equations flooding her consciousness rearranged themselves, revealing patterns in the chaos. The beacon wasn't just changing her physically, it was upgrading her capacity to process information. She could see the quantum probability streams that the Nexary used for transportation, could calculate the exact moments when reality's fabric was thinnest. A sharp pain lanced through her skull, accompanied by a vision: UEC scientists in a sterile lab, dissecting a crystalline corpse. The date stamp was from 3 years ago. They'd had a Nexary specimen all this time, studying their quantum-based biology in secret. Containment breach in Sector 7, the city's automated systems announced in melodic tones. Unknown entity exhibiting Class X temporal distortions. All citizens enter stasis protocols. Reyna checked her suit's remaining power. 20 minutes, maybe less. Once it failed, she'd be exposed to the toxic atmosphere, assuming the beacon's changes didn't protect her. She needed a ship, but the spaceport would be locked down. A new set of equations bloomed in her mind, showing her something impossible. The Nexary didn't just use quantum gates for local transportation. Their entire civilization was connected by a network of quantum entanglement nodes. If she could access one. The maintenance corridor opened into a vast chamber filled with crystalline structures, each pulsing with data streams. A quantum server farm. 2 guards stood at attention, their bodies formed into living weapons. Reyna felt the beacon's power surge. Time seemed to slow as probability calculations projected every possible outcome. She could see the quantum threads connecting the guards to the network, could perceive the exact frequencies of their consciousness. She stepped into view. The guards reacted instantly, launching crystalline shards that could shred her at the molecular level. But Reyna was already moving, her body flowing through spacetime like water. The beacon's knowledge guided her movements, showing her how to exist in multiple probability states simultaneously. The guards never stood a chance. She disrupted their quantum cohesion with precisely calculated touches, watching as their crystalline forms collapsed into base elements. The knowledge of how to do this had simply been there, downloaded into her evolved consciousness. Fascinating performance, a new voice echoed through the chamber. A Nexary emerged from a quantum gate, its form more complex than any she'd seen before. The beacon chose well. Reyna recognized the patterns rippling through its crystalline body. This was no ordinary Nexary. This was one of their archivists, a living repository of their species' knowledge. The UEC thinks they understand what they're dealing with, the archivist continued. They believe the beacon is a tool for advancement. They're wrong. It's a test, and you, Reyna Santos, are the first human to pass. What am I becoming? Reyna asked, watching quantum probabilities dance around her fingertips. Something that shouldn't be possible. A bridge between organic and quantum existence. The question is, will your humanity survive the transformation? Warning signals flashed through the quantum network. UEC ships had breached the atmosphere, launching an assault on the capital city. They weren't coming to rescue her, they were coming to contain her. The archivist's form pulsed with urgent patterns. Make your choice quickly, Ambassador. Your species fears what it cannot control. The beacon's gift cannot be allowed to fall into their hands. Reyna accessed the quantum network, feeling the connection spread across space itself. She could escape, but the knowledge burning through her consciousness told her this was just the beginning. The beacon hadn't chosen her by accident. The hunt wasn't over. It was evolving. The quantum leap across star systems left Reyna gasping, her transformed cells burning with residual energy. She materialized in an abandoned mining outpost on Proxima b, the closest exoplanet to Earth. Her containment suit had disintegrated during the jump, but she no longer needed it. The beacon's changes had accelerated, adapting her body to survive in almost any environment. The outpost's ancient terminals flickered to life as she approached, responding to the quantum signatures now emanating from her body. Through the reinforced windows, she could see Earth forces establishing a blockade around the planet. They'd predicted her probable escape routes. "Your species learns quickly," a familiar voice resonated through the chamber. The archivist materialized, its crystalline form dimmer than before. But they lack context. The beacon isn't just changing you, it's preparing you. For what? Reyna demanded, watching probability streams weave around them like cosmic threads. War. A new voice, deep and resonant, echoed through the chamber. A massive figure emerged from the shadows, its biomechanical body a masterpiece of evolved engineering. Not human, but not Nexary either. The kind that ends civilizations. The being's surface shifted, revealing complex patterns similar to Nexary communication but fundamentally different. "I am Sentinel Xander, last survivor of the Meridian Empire. The ones you call those who came before." Reyna's enhanced mind processed the implications instantly. "You created the beacon." "We created many beacons," Xander corrected. "Scattered them across galaxies, searching for species with the potential to evolve. To fight." The archivist's form pulsed with urgent patterns. "They're coming. The entity that destroyed the meridians. It feeds on quantum potential itself, consuming civilizations at their peak. The Nexary detected its approach decades ago." Quantum equations exploded through Reyna's consciousness, showing her glimpses of an impossible entity moving between dimensions, leaving dead galaxies in its wake. The beacon hadn't just been upgrading her, it had been preparing humanity for extinction-level contact. The UEC found a damaged Nexary scout ship, Reyna realized. That's how they knew about the beacon. They've been preparing for war. "Preparing to fail," Xander stated. "Your leaders believe conventional weapons and stolen quantum technology will be enough. They don't understand that evolution itself is the only defense." The outpost's sensors blared. UEC quantum drive ships were approaching, led by the flagship Prometheus. On its bridge would be the same officials who had sent her on this diplomatic mission, ready to contain the beacon's power by any means necessary. "Your transformation isn't complete," the archivist warned. "If they capture you now, humanity loses its best chance at survival." Reyna accessed the quantum network, feeling the connections spanning across space. The equations in her mind were reaching critical mass, pushing her consciousness towards something vast and terrifying. She could feel the entity now, a void in the quantum fabric of reality, drawing closer. "I can't run forever," she said, watching probability streams collapse around them. "And humanity needs to understand what's coming." Xander's biomechanical form shifted, revealing weapons of incomprehensible design. "Then perhaps it's time to stop running." The Meridians faced the entity alone. The Nexary tried to hide. Neither strategy worked. "What are you suggesting?" Reyna asked, though the quantum mathematics already showed her the answer. "Evolution requires catalyst events," the archivist explained. "Your species needs to see what the beacon's power can truly achieve. They need to witness the next step in human potential." Through the quantum network, Reyna could feel Earth's forces converging on their position. But she could also sense something else, other beacons, dormant but not dead, scattered across human space. The UEC hadn't just found one. She smiled as new equations bloomed in her mind, showing her possibilities that even the beacon's creators hadn't imagined. Then let's give them something worth witnessing. The hunt was about to become a revolution. The UEC Prometheus hung in orbit like a sword of Damocles, its quantum weapons charged and ready. But Reyna wasn't looking at the ship. Through her evolved senses, she watched the fabric of spacetime shudder as the entity devoured another galaxy 50 million light-years away. "They're scanning for quantum signatures," Xander observed, his biomechanical form adapting to mask their presence. "Your military's persistent. Not persistent enough." Reyna interfaced with the outpost systems, the equations in her mind translating into pure data. "Look at this." She projected a quantum hologram showing classified UEC files. Research stations across human space, each studying a different beacon. Some dormant, others partially activated. All of them waiting. The archivist's crystalline form pulsed with revelation patterns. "They found 7. 8, Xander corrected. "The last remains hidden in Earth's core, placed there when your species was still learning to make fire. We thought humanity might need more time to evolve." A quantum burst from the Prometheus interrupted them. Admiral Roland's voice filled the chamber. "Ambassador Santos, by authority of the United Earth Coalition, you are ordered to surrender for containment and study." Reyna accessed the quantum network, sending her response directly to the bridge. "Show them." Confusion rippled through the command crew's communications. Then understanding, as Reyna's quantum mathematics breached their systems, revealing the truth they'd tried to hide. The entity wasn't just coming, it had already sent probe forms into human space. Emergency alerts blazed across Earth's defense grid. 3 quantum anomalies, previously dismissed as sensor ghosts, suddenly registered as massive threats. The probe forms had been watching, gathering data on humanity's defenses. "Now they understand," Xander said, his weapon systems humming to life. "But fear makes humans dangerous." The Prometheus launched its first strike, not at them, but at the outpost's quantum core. They meant to cut off her access to the network. Reyna reached out with her evolved senses and caught the quantum torpedoes in probability stasis. "Enough," she broadcasted, her voice resonating through every quantum-capable device in the system. "The entity destroys civilizations because they fight alone. Because they keep secrets. Because they refuse to evolve." She released the torpedoes, letting them dissipate harmlessly into quantum foam. Through the network, she could feel other transformed humans awakening near the hidden beacons. The UEC hadn't just been studying the artifacts, they'd been testing them on volunteers. "Your mission was never about diplomacy," Admiral Roland responded, his voice heavy. "We needed to know if controlled exposure was possible. If humans could survive the change." "How many?" Reyna demanded. 37 attempts. "You're the first success." The archivist's form rippled with calculation patterns. "The entity will reach this galaxy in 3 standard years. Humanity isn't ready." "No," Reyna agreed, watching quantum probability streams converge. "But we can be." She reached deeper into the network, touching minds across human space. Scientists, soldiers, and civilians who'd been exposed to the beacon's energy. Most had gone mad. Some had died. But others were like her, changed, evolving, waiting for a catalyst. "You can't control this," Admiral Roland warned. "The power you're accessing was meant for beings far beyond our comprehension." Xander's biomechanical form shifted, revealing more meridian secrets. The beacons weren't designed to control. They were designed to unlock potential. Every species carries the seeds of its own transcendence. Through the quantum network, Reyna felt the other survivors connecting, sharing their experiences, their transformations. Each had evolved differently, adapted to the beacon's energy in unique ways. Together, they formed a pattern even the entity might fear. "Admiral," she said, as the quantum mathematics showed her their best chance for survival, I'm not asking for control. I'm offering an alliance. The hunt had become a race for survival, and every second counted. The entity's probe form struck Earth's quantum defense grid like cosmic lightning, their void nature consuming military installations and civilian networks alike. But humanity wasn't fighting alone anymore. Reyna stood in Earth's quantum command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the battle across the solar system. The 36 other beacon survivors had taken their positions, each commanding a sector of space, their evolved abilities working in concert through the quantum network. Second probe form approaching Mars, Lieutenant Frost reported, her own beacon-enhanced mind processing battlefield data at impossible speeds. Standard weapons having no effect. They wouldn't, Xander said, his biomechanical form interfaced with Earth's defense systems. The entity exists partially outside normal spacetime. That's why the meridians failed. The Archivist's crystalline form pulsed with urgent patterns. The primary entity approaches. These are merely its harbingers. Reyna watched probability streams collapse as the probe forms adapted to their defenses. The quantum mathematics burning through her consciousness showed her countless possible futures, most of them ended in extinction. But there was one path, theoretically possible but never attempted. The beacons hadn't just been tools for evolution, they were keys to something greater. The core, she said, understanding flooding her enhanced mind. The eighth beacon isn't just hidden in Earth's core, it's connected to it. Xander's form shifted with recognition. The meridians didn't choose Earth randomly. Your planet's core is naturally quantum entangled with thousands of others across the galaxy. A network older than terrestrial life itself. Through the quantum link, Reyna felt the other survivors grasp the implications. Earth wasn't just humanity's cradle, it was a nexus point in a galaxy-spanning web of potential. If we activate the core beacon, she broadcast through the network, we can create a quantum resonance cascade. Force evolution on a planetary scale. The casualties would be catastrophic, Admiral Roland warned. Billions aren't ready for that level of change. A probe form breached Mars' defenses, consuming the quantum barrier like it was mist. Earth had minutes, maybe less. The entity doesn't just destroy civilizations, the Archivist's patterns showed urgency. It prevents them from reaching their true potential. This was always meant to be humanity's test, evolve or perish. Reyna reached out through the quantum network, touching minds across the planet. Not forced evolution, she realized. Guided evolution. We don't all have to change the same way. The survivors linked their consciousness, forming a quantum gestalt more complex than anything the beacon's creators had imagined. Through their combined perception, they could see the entity clearly now, a vast, living void between dimensions, consuming quantum potential itself. Everyone deserves a choice, Reyna broadcast globally. But we have to make it now. The response came not in words but in quantum resonance as millions of human minds opened themselves to change. The eighth beacon activated, its energy channeling through Earth's core and into the ancient network. Evolution cascaded across the planet in waves of quantum transformation. Some humans developed crystalline properties like the Nexary. Others manifested biomechanical adaptations similar to the meridians. Most transformed in entirely new ways, their potential unlocked by choice rather than chance. The entity's probe forms recoiled as humanity's quantum signature changed fundamentally. The gestalt of evolved consciousness created patterns they couldn't consume, defenses they couldn't breach. It's retreating, Xander observed with something like awe. Your species found a third option. Not fight or hide, transcend. Through the quantum network, Reyna felt Earth's transformed population adjusting to their new reality. Not just physical evolution, but a fundamental shift in human consciousness. The ability to perceive quantum reality had changed them forever. The hunt is over, she broadcast, watching the entity's primary form alter course, avoiding Earth space entirely. But our evolution is just beginning. In orbit, The UEC Prometheus's quantum sensors detected thousands of dormant beacons activating across the galaxy. Earth wasn't the only nexus point in the ancient network. Other civilizations would face the same choice, evolve or perish. But this time, they wouldn't face it alone. Humanity had become something new, not just a species, but a bridge between what was and what could be. The beacons had been keys, but humans had found their own lock to open. The next chapter of cosmic evolution had begun.